We are talking about relationships in the classroom, and as classroom staff, how we form these relationships and develop them. And I listened to this marvelous physicist speak with my favorite podcaster, Krista Tippett, and it's Carlo Rovelli is the physicist, and he illuminated for me how we are relational at the subatomic level. How if we don't have the protons and neurons and electrons all together, nothing's going to happen. So it's no wonder that in our lives that relationships, interactions with others are vital. It's because it's part of our makeup. There's no denying it. And so if you're working with children who have been subjected to a number of adverse childhood experiences, or what we refer to as ACEs, you know how difficult it is to form those relationships. You know how they don't respond in kind to your smile or your hug or your warmth or your encouragement. They often, just respond with the complete opposite. While there is no perfect approach to these relationships, there are some key pieces that we're going to talk about, and later you're going to see some video of students encountering this kind of playful, loving, accepting, curious, empathic attitude, which helps to foster these relationships. And so that is one of the key ingredients, is the attitude, being playful, loving, accepting, curious, and empathic. Being deliberate about that. So having a plan to implement all of those aspects, and then finally not giving up, because it is difficult work. We have to admit that. We have to just be honest. This is difficult work, and we can't give up, because it just takes one adult, and you can be that person who makes a difference in a child's life. You can be the difference between a child just staying in this downward spiral and becoming an adult with a host of health issues and no good relationships, and even incarceration. You can be the difference between that and having healthier relationships and some success in life and better health. Those are big things, and you can make the difference. So you don't want to give up. Have a plan, employ the attitude, and don't give up.
What happened? Asked Annie. I don't know. Something weird, said Jack. We have to get out of here fast. Push against the door. Good idea, said Annie in a small voice.
All right, Amy Voss. It's obvious that you've established some really great relationships with your students. So my question is, I have two. Mm-hmm. How did you do that, and what difference do you think that made in your classroom?
Well, I think the first thing I did was I spent the first weeks of school focusing on what I saw with behavior and body language, and listening to the kids talk to each other about their interests. Mm-hmm. And so then I just picked up on that and tried to incorporate all of my little pop culture things that I do into what they were saying, and then they kind of started responding to that, and so I just built from there. It was like little bricks, one at a time, going into the wall. And then eventually their physical affection started to play into the picture. So I think the first day it happened, I was just standing outside the classroom door, and it was about 2 weeks into the school year, and one of them just kind of ran up to me and wrapped their arms around me, and that was kind of it. After that, then they were a huggy class, and it was like that broke the ice. But
And that was your attunement.
yeah, it just being attuned. It's almost
Mhm.
like using your radar just to kind of pick up. And if you listen to them, you know, I mean, we did some things where you fill out like, here's my likes, here's my dislikes, and that helped a little bit. But it was no substitute for just really being in close proximity and listening how they talk to each other, and then picking up on that, and then inserting yourself into the conversation,
Mhm.
along with teaching the structure of the class.
Mhm.
So that just gave them a safe place. And once they realized that I was kind of funny and made a safe environment, then they opened up even more. And because that particular group, I'm not their home teacher, I'm not their homeroom teacher,
Mhm.
so I didn't have the chance to get intensive with them right away,
Mhm.
and it took a little while. But it's just consistency and just staying with it.
Yeah.
And eventually it came, like tending your garden.
Great.
It just came.
Great. Great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.